As Brazil moves through the second quarter of 2025, President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva's third non-consecutive presidential term is firmly underway, marked by a complex navigation between ambitious policy objectives and significant structural constraints. Evaluating the state of his administration requires an examination of its performance across key domestic fronts, social, economic, and political, as well as its efforts to reposition Brazil within a shifting global order. Central to President Lula's mandate, secured after a highly polarized election, is the commitment to tackling Brazil's deep-seated social inequalities. His government has prioritized the reinforcement and expansion of social welfare programs, most notably Bolsa Familia, aiming to combat poverty and food insecurity exacerbated by recent crises. Alongside this, a renewed focus on environmental protection, particularly safeguarding the Amazon rainforest and upholding indigenous rights, forms a key pillar of his agenda, signaling a sharp departure from the previous administration. However, implementing these socially focused policies faces constant tension with economic realities. Managing persistent inflation, adhering to fiscal responsibility frameworks amid concerns over public debt, and stimulating private investment to foster quality job creation remain pressing challenges. Structural reforms, such as ongoing efforts towards tax simplification, are pursued but encounter complex negotiations and resistance. The political landscape presents perhaps the most intricate challenge. Governing Brazil necessitates managing a highly fragmented Congress, requiring constant negotiation and the building of broad, often ideologically diverse coalitions to pass legislation. President Lula must navigate this complex terrain while facing a vocal and organized opposition, largely rooted in the Bolsonarismo movement. This enduring political polarization permeates society, complicates consensus building, and demands continuous efforts to reinforce democratic norms and institutional stability, which were perceived by many observers to have been eroded in preceding years. Lula's ability to maintain governability and advance his agenda depends heavily on his political acumen in this fractured environment. On the international stage, the Lula administration has actively worked to restore Brazil's diplomatic influence and engagement after a period of perceived isolationism. This involves championing multilateralism, seeking a prominent role in global climate discussions, strengthening ties within Latin America, and pursuing a pragmatic foreign policy that balances relationships with major powers, including the United States, China, and the European Union. Reasserting Brazil's voice in international forums like the G20 and BRICS is a key component of this strategy, aiming to leverage diplomacy for national development goals. In summary, President Lula's third term, as observed in April 2025, is characterized by the pursuit of a progressive social and environmental agenda, constrained by significant economic limitations and a deeply divided political environment. His administration's success will ultimately be gauged by its capacity to deliver tangible improvements in the lives of ordinary Brazilians, particularly the most vulnerable, while shoring up democratic institutions and skillfully navigating both domestic political fragmentation and complex global dynamics. The Channel of Brazil, your window onto the Brazilian socio-political landscape,